Wait.
Lucy, I'm really in kind of a hurry right now.
I just want to see how your office turned out, you know? It looks great. You put everything away, didn't you?
Were you looking for something in particular?
Okay. Remember that file you had on Rachel Locke?
Uh-huh, the one I told you to forget about?
Yeah, but you started that file because you had a lot of questions about her, didn't you?
I started that file because I didn't like the way she was working with Julie. I closed the file when I realized that Julie wasn't a killer.
Okay, but there's still a lot of questions about that woman. I mean, you know, her past is murky at best, and not to mention the present. I mean, I was tailing her yesterday, and
You
I called
were
her
what?
Well, I was just trying to see if she was trying to get board votes, you know, and so I came to this place, though. I've never been there before. It's the Van Wyck Institution. It's a mental
She was probably there to see a patient. Now, you can win a seat on the board fair and square because you deserve it. You don't have to resort to mudslinging at Rachel Locke.
Why not? It's fun.
Because that's her style, not yours. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get to Joe's peer review.
Okay, well, tell Joe hi, good luck, and all that for me. Oh. Hey, there you are. I was getting worried.
What? Still have 5 minutes?
I know, I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to oversleep today.
Well, not with me banging on his door telling him to wake up or he's going to miss breakfast.
Well, don't make him regret letting you represent him, especially since it was my idea.
No regrets. You were right about bringing out the big guns.
GH is going to do it. I mean, we've got the state medical board watching the whole thing, so, of course, they're sweating it.
Yeah, well, I'm not, because I did the right thing.
Well, let's just prove that, huh?
You still in my corner?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
Well, I don't know. That night...
Listen, Joe, we didn't promise each other
I know, but
anything.
maybe you were hoping for something.
Even if I was, which isn't true, you think I'd make you look bad in front of the peer review? Wow. Wow, I thought there was some space between us, but we're not even on the same planet. Dr. Locke, I didn't know you'd be joining us. Oh, Alan informed me last night.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Dr. Scanlon's frame of mind, so I thought that Rachel could be very helpful in this area.
No, I'd like to help out wherever I can. This hospital means a great deal to me.
Is that why you decided to run for the open board seat?
Yes. Although I do have a very strong opponent in Lucy.
We're lucky we have two excellent candidates.
Alan, Dr. Newman.
Private meeting, Kevin.
Oh, the peer review.
That's right.
Then I'm in the right place.
Well, then congratulations. You know, the paint's not even dry on your nameplate yet, and already you're testing your influence.
Well, I took my cue from you.
Not if you're here to support Dr. Scanlon.
Aren't we supposed to hear the case before we form an opinion?
Hey.
Hi, how'd it go?
I don't think I ever saw a kid so happy to get back to school.
Well, he certainly doesn't take after either of us, does he?
Maybe when he grows up, he'll be able to call his own shots. Help wanted?
Yeah, there's got to be a job for me somewhere.
You have one, don't you? Party girl?
Party planner. And it's been pretty slow lately, considering all the time I've spent at the hospital. Oh, here's a good one. How does this sound? Wealthy man seeks companion.
Very funny. I know a man who needs a companion.
That's not going to make us any money, Frank.
I was talking about Neil. What about full-time mom for a while? While he adjusts to life on the outside.
That sounds really nice, but the pay isn't too great on that one either. And now that we've dropped the suit against Joe in the hospital,
We'll manage.
I want to do more than just manage, Frank. We need to turn this place into a home and start planning for Neil's college and have a little fun for ourselves, huh? When was the last time you bought yourself a new pair of shoes?
When the ones I was wearing wore out. you're right. You and Neil deserve better.
When I looked at Neil Kanellis in the hours before the transplant, I saw something I'd never seen before. He was very weak, battered by all the therapies that we had tried on him, and he knew he wasn't getting any better. He knew, just like the rest of us did, that he was dying. Up until then, he'd say, "I can lick this thing." But this time he had given up. He had resigned himself to... Well, he resigned himself to his own death. And as weak as he was, I could see in his eyes that he had given up hope. So I gave him his last straw. I promised him that I would save him. And that promise and the calculated risk I took on the transplant brought him back. Now, I know I didn't go through the regular channels. Hell, I went out of my way to go around them. But I will not apologize for something I know was necessary and right.
Would you still be saying that if Neil had died?
The point is, he didn't.
I'm inclined to say, so what?
Because he ignored the experts?
Because he broke the rules, and yes, he ignored the experts.
Well, that begs the question. What do we say to a patient who's giving up? Tough luck. We don't want to try anything else because the experts said so?
Dr. Scanlon gave himself permission to lie to the boy.
I didn't lie to him. I promised him I would do everything I could to save him, no matter what it might cost me personally.
Which, in my view, is exactly what a good doctor should do.
Gee whiz, I don't know what... I was thinking I somehow left my nurse's ball planner in Dr. Collins' office, and that planner has absolutely everything I need to know about the nurse's ball, and if I don't have that, well, you wouldn't want to be responsible for the nurse's ball being a big fat fizzle, would you?
No, I'm only doing this because you and Dr. Collins are old friends.
Well, thank you. You're such a doll.
That's what Mabel tells me. Be sure it's locked up tight when you leave.
Trust me.
Mabel says that, too.
Ta.
Lucy!
You really shouldn't just barge into places like that.
Well, I was invited. What's your excuse?
My planner, my nurse's ball planner, I left it in here.
Yeah, okay, try again, and this time make it good. Otherwise, I might be forced to say that the candidate for the hospital board is, breaking and entering.
Let me ask you something, Joe. Before you chose to do the bone marrow procedure, why didn't you wait for the xylostine at least to work?
We were running out of time.
In your opinion. But it was a very, very bad choice.
It was the right choice.
Will you concede at least that it was in poor judgment? And because of that, I don't know if you can be trusted anymore to practice medicine in a safe and ethical manner.
What do you want him to do, walk around with his tail between his legs even though you've written him off here, Alan?
I want him to own up to what he's done and to understand that there are rules in this hospital that must be followed.
What is this, Nazi Germany?
Without rules, we have anarchy.
And you're lucky your client got a good result. Because if he hadn't, you might be defending him in criminal court on a charge of manslaughter.
Mark, you're out of line.
No, I agree with him. Dr. Boardman knows what it's like to take chances, to take risks and face the consequences, even when he's right. I mean, that's the kind of medicine this hospital is known for, Alan. It's called getting the job done. And when Joe did the transplant, he was following the example of the fine doctors that this hospital has.
The finest doctors don't act without the consent of the patient's family, especially if it's a minor. And I don't think any of us has gone against the lead doctor on the case, the CR, and the chief of staff.
We can't be known as a place where impulsive residents run around doing things that are absolutely forbidden and then take credit for them when they get lucky.
This isn't about taking credit. This is about saving a boy's life who was about to die. A patient of mine.
No, not a patient of yours. This is about you staying on a case that you were ordered off of and ignoring the advice of doctors who have much more experience than you. You know, this kind of behavior, it might be fine for a private practice out in the boondocks, but not for a medical institution of this prestige.
Gentlemen, read them.
and weak.
You had trash.
It's called bluffing. You should try it sometime. Hey, Frank.
Larry, how's it going?
At this particular moment, I'm a very happy man.
Yeah, well, maybe you can share the wealth. I'm looking for work.
Well, didn't Pro Ambulance take you back?
Yeah, but I've got a family now, man. It sucks up a paycheck. So, look, I was wondering maybe you could use a bartender, bouncer, something.
Sorry. I ain't got nothing for you right now.
Hey, stranger.
Hey, you keeping the wolf from the door?
Barely.
I know the feeling. All right, guys, you let me know if you hear of anything, okay?
Frank, why don't you try to take some of this away from me here? Be a quick buck there.
Come on. We need fresh blood. One hand.
Sure. What are we playing, guys?
The game, gentlemen, is 5-card draw. The Jackson ante, no peak, no high-low. Dealing with a button.
Well, hello to you, too.
Hi.
Hi. How was your day?
Fine.
You hungry?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, well, can I have a kiss? Huh? Spit her. Spit her.
Mom,
Yep, that's me.
Serena said her dad's defending Joe.
Yeah, well, Serena's dad's a lawyer. Lawyers defend people.
Usually if they do something wrong.
Usually.
So why does Joe need a lawyer?
Well, he's trying to get his job back at General Hospital.
I still don't understand.
Neil, Joe broke the rules. When you break the rules, there are consequences. You know that.
You mean when he gave me my transplant?
Yeah. He wasn't supposed to do that.
And now they're not going to give him his job back?
Well, that's what they're deciding.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They should give him his job back and pay him twice as much. Geez, if this is what a guy gets for saving my life.
Dr. Scanlon was very close to his patient, but is that always a bad thing? When Courtney Canelos was in a car accident, Joe performed heroically under great pressure. His personal feelings did not affect his judgment or skill as a doctor.
We keep getting away from the simple fact that I gave Dr. Scanlon an order and he defied it.
If he didn't, Alan, Neil was gonna die.
And the doctors that you disagreed with, you really think that they didn't care about what happened to your patient, whether or not he lived or died?
Of course they did. All right, look, we're going around in circles here. All right, let's try another perspective. Joe answers to Chief Resident Dr. Wexler. Let's see what she has to say about this.
Hey, come on, this isn't the 60s. This isn't Watergate. This is just me, and I'm not in here stealing anything. You know what I really want? I want to take a peek at the file Kevin has on Rachel Locke.
Why didn't you just ask Kevin?
I did. Of course I did, but he said I shouldn't descend to her level.
You'd need scuba gear.
Yeah, well, she wants that seat that I want on the board, and I've got to find a way to stop her.
And you are in her way, which is why I think you should watch your back, all right? That woman is a viper.
Yeah, tell me about it. You should see the way she looked at Scott and was all over him when she thought we were breaking up.
Well, that was the kinder, gentler Rachel. You should see the way she looks at Kevin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Eve, problem is, if she gets that board seat, she probably could Kevin.
You are so right. Where's that Rachel file?
Okay, good.
No, wait, not in a million years.
Excuse me, you just said that we should look at the file.
Joking. I was joking, okay? I agree with you that something needs to be done about Rachel, but not in this way.
Did you hear what you just said? You said the A word. Agree. You said that we, you and me, us, together, agree. That's the first.
Well, call it the Rachel Locke effect. Women of Port Charles uniting in one big rattlesnake roundup.
When did you know for sure that Dr. Scanlon was out of control?
I wouldn't say he was ever out of control.
What would you say?
He lost his objectivity.
And that became apparent when?
Not until the very end.
Well, long before the very end, you knew that Joe had found out that Neil was his son. Am I right?
I suppose.
Well, wouldn't that have sent some sort of a warning flag that he should be replaced?
Joe did everything he could to save Neil. I made a judgment call.
Involving your personal feelings for Joe.
What do you mean?
Well, you and Joe have been friends for a long time.
Ever since we were kids.
You knew how much it meant to Joe to be able to treat Neil.
Yes.
So you let him stay on even though you realized that you shouldn't. You were guided by your feelings.
Up to a point.
Well, that's okay for you, but not for Joe.
Dr. Scanlon was making decisions that directly affected a patient.
And because you had personal feelings for Joe, you let him stay on.
I suppose, but...
Doesn't that make you every bit as responsible as Joe? For the record, don't you feel some kind of responsibility?
That's enough.
Now, let me finish here,
You've
Joe.
made your point, Scott.
We'll take a break. 15 minutes, everyone.
Joe, you didn't have to rescue me.
You were upset.
Because Scott was right. I made a bad judgment call.
Karen, what happened wasn't your fault, okay?
Well, yeah, thanks for the support, but I don't need your help. For God's sake, Joe, your neck is on the line here.
It's all in or fold them there, Frank.
Cowboy's full.
Oh, now that's very nice.
Except, doesn't beat my straight flush with the lady. Well, that's it for me.
Whoa, wait. You not even try to take a little of this back from me?
Oh, what the hell? I still have time before my shift. You'll me in.
There you go.
Okay, you're gonna tattle on me, aren't you? You're gonna spill the beans to Kevin.
Do you want me to lie?
Well, I just want you to remind him I wasn't snooping. I was on a mission.
Look, if there was any dirt on Rachel, Kevin would have told you about it.
Come on, I deserve that board seat a lot more than Rachel does.
Yes, you do.
I do. But you said I do.
Look, you are one of GH's most devoted champions. And the money that you have helped raise has helped us doctors a lot, and the patients. And there is not anyone here who doesn't know that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I sure wish you were on the board.
You know, I could put a good word in for you. Did I just say that?
This is getting scary.
Dr. Collins, for the last time, the issue isn't the results. Joe broke the rules.
And I'll say it as many times as I have to, Dr. Locke. The rules don't mean anything if we let patients die.
And the parents and the relatives, what are we supposed to tell them? Just hang?
I'll grant anyone. Joe, you should have at least tried to get permission first.
What he should have got was some humility.
But Neil didn't die.
But he could have. And patients are going to die every day regardless of our best efforts. But this hospital cannot survive if we tolerate impulsive, immature behavior like Dr. Scanlon's or even encourage it.
Is this the philosophy you hope to put into practice if you're elected to the board? Screw the patients, just save GH?
You know what? My views aren't the issue here. Dr. Scanlon's are.
Look, I'm a doctor. And I'd like to practice my profession. I'd like to do it here. But not if I have to make the kind of trade-off that Dr. Locke here is so fond of between rules and the survival of my patients.
The rules are there to ensure the survival of your patients.
They were no damn help at all in Neil's case. Now, if you can't see that, then maybe I don't belong in this place at all.